Having a bunch of great free cyber resources is awesome, but not knowing where to start or being intimidated by the huge amount of lists and where to go with it can be a bit of a problem. So in this week's episode, we're going to take a look at that free cyber list that we've been maintaining and show you where to go to figure out how to use it best for your situation. Coming up. Hey everybody, thanks for joining. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to Simply Cyber, a YouTube channel designed for information security professionals looking to take their career further, faster. Now, a few weeks ago, I had done a video on a list of free cyber resources, conferences, podcasts, textbooks, just a whole training webinars, all these different things. And I've been maintaining that list and it's been really well received by the community. But I got thinking, I still see people ask the question, where do I begin? How do I start? Cybersecurity is so big. I don't know what to do. I'm going into college. I'm graduating college. What do you recommend? So I thought this week it would be good to take the list and actually give kind of an editorial version of the items that are currently on the list. Now, remember that this list is kind of organic and living. Dates pass, events go by, I remove the list, I find out about something new, I add something. So the date on the list is May 8th, I believe, when this list was taken or when this video was made, the bulk of what I'm going to do today. But just, I wanted to provide that context. Now, a bit of a show note, channel note for you, the audience. First of all, thank you. We're almost up to 400 subscribers, and I'm really just pleased with the responses I've been getting. I love meeting many of you. You reach out, you comment, hit me up on LinkedIn. I've just had some great engagement and some great people I've met. So thank you very much for continuing to support me and let me know that this is something that you're interested in. Now, I've just recently begun introducing live streaming. So I make these videos at home, cut them up, and then publish them on YouTube. But I've got it accepted to LinkedIn Live, and of course I could be doing YouTube Live already. And I've got some videos coming up, and this one that is going to be shown today, the bulk of it today, is from a live stream I did a few days ago. So I'm not really quite sure how to promote this properly yet, but just be aware that I'm going to be doing live streams. I will be promoting them in advance, obviously, this Thursday, May 14th at 4:30, in line with what this channel's mission is of helping cybersecurity professionals. I will be talking with Pete Preston, the marketing director at ThinkTilt, on how to best market cybersecurity services. So there's a ton of people who have great skills and want to have like a 1 or 2 person cyber shop and really don't know how to market it correctly. So Pete's going to help us with that. So stay tuned for that and be aware of the live streams. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer them and engage with you all. So today, I did a live stream of this editorial and I'm going to provide it right here, right now. So let's get into it. Talking about a list of free cybersecurity resources that I have been curating for about a month now. And you can see it right here. I will say that I can't really see the comments, so I'm just going to be going with this. But this is a list of free cyber resources, and let me put the banner up so y'all can see it. So that's the link to it. And this covers several categories, as you can see, including conferences, training, instructor-led webinar, labs, and workshops. So the training is more independent learning, self-learning, things that you would kind of do on your own schedule, whereas instructor-led webinars are, you schedule it and, you have to be there at a certain time. There are replays, but in order to engage the lecturer and such, get labs and stuff like that. Books, there's only a few, those aren't as popular. Podcasts, obviously, those are self-explanatory. And then just recently, I added college courses, which is very exciting and very interesting. So what I want to do today is basically spend a few minutes kind of touching on a few key things based on what hey, Chris Murray, based on a couple of things that I've seen. People are excited about this tool, about this resource. You can see here on Reddit, the cybersecurity moderators were very, very generous and posted my pin right up into the to the front there, and with 806 likes, I got some gold coins and stuff like that. So really, really good response from the community, and I keep this updated. It's an identical replica of the GitHub. So, but what I've seen is not everybody like fully understands how to use it, and cybersecurity can be really intimidating if you're coming to it from the outside. So we're going to run through a couple of these items today and just kind of give you a feel for it. Now, I will say with the conferences, there was a real run of conferences back kind of like late March, early April. And unfortunately, I really wish I had done this video then, because these conferences that are listed here are good conferences, don't get me wrong, but the ones that were being done, like DerpCon, IsolationCon, PancakeCon, these type of conferences were much more kind of community driven, less vendor driven. And there was like a Discord channel and stuff for communicating and networking and engaging. I made some personal contacts myself. I volunteered for GrimCon, which is a really good conference that I just found out about. So you can attend these conferences. I don't know if you'll get that same level of networking capability and engagement, but I want to point out the Red Team Village virtual conference. Now, this one, these other ones are much larger conferences. They're all free, by the way. This is all free. But the Red Team one, these villages are much more community driven. Now, I personally am not a Red Teamer. I've done pen testing academically, but I've never professionally done it. So this village doesn't really resonate with me, but it's interesting. And if you are an individual who is trying to get into the field, pen testing, Red Team, those are like kind of the sexier sides of cybersecurity. Like it's a lot of a pub, and like anytime you see a cool movie, there's always like a hacker or whatever. That's kind of like that Red Team stuff. You break into things. You do have to write reports, which is kind of the downside of that particular segment. But if you don't know what you don't know, I could recommend going to this Red Team Village. They're going to be live streaming it on YouTube, which to me indicates that they're going to be actively engaging in the chats. I would assume they may have a Discord. That's how the other conferences were taking advantage of networking engagement and stuff like that. And they break out the Discord into multiple channels based on various topics and such. So it's really focuses on what the conversation would be in that channel. So I would recommend this one. It's Saturday, May 16th. So you still got a couple weeks. Again, it's live stream on YouTube. So there won't be any, turned away at the door because we sold too many tickets or whatever, right? So good on them. Really appreciate what they're doing there. Now back to the GitHub. These other ones, I've mentioned this before, like the VMware and the RSA, like, yes, those are typically conferences that are like very, heavily vendor driven, right? So you'll get some independent research, some new kind of thoughts being presented, but a lot of times too at these type of conferences, you'll get vendor sponsored talk. So like the talk will be about like a new hacking technique, right? But then they'll demonstrate how their particular piece of technology can identify this type of attack. So there's like a little bit of a sales thing to it. It's good. It's good. It's all free, so it doesn't hurt to go check out these conferences. And again, if you know or you're planning a conference that is going to be coming up, that's going to be free. This is just free stuff because I want people who are not, the pandemic is like affecting everybody in economic collapses or economic downturns, and people are losing their jobs and stuff. So like, it's not about investing financially in yourself right now. It's about investing your time in yourself to be able to get a job or come out of this pandemic in a better situation. So check out these conferences, all free, all good stuff. The next section is the training. Now, remember, the training is the group of content that is not, it's like, independent running and stuff like this. Again, Metasploit is going to be your Red Team penetration type stuff, that type of skill. So get in there. Your AWS Cloud Certified. Now, this is a YouTube video. I've actually watched a little bit of this. The video is free. The training's free. The exam for the AWS cloud certification, which if you think of the way that AWS is set up there, their certification structure. They have like the base cert if you want to become an AWS expert, base cert, and then it kind of grows up like a tree depending on which direction you want to go. But one cool thing is it's $100 for that first exam, and then if you pass it, the next exam I think is like $200, but you get 50% off if you pass the previous exam. So they incentivize you to continue to grow up that tree. There's a 4-hour YouTube video. I've watched about an hour of it. It's good. I mean, they set you up from like beginning to like build out your AWS program. So you're like your billing and all these other stuff. It's pretty cool. Check it out. What else are we doing here? I don't want to highlight all of them. CISO workshop training. So, okay, so this isn't really red team or blue team. This is more executive track type stuff. This would be obviously for someone who's already in the field and looking to kind of go from a manager role or director of security for a smaller operation and get into that. So now one piece of editorial I would give you is CISO workshop training. If you think about it, I don't know this one particular, it's hosted by Microsoft if this is an independent run one, but if you get a chance to go to any CISO type workshop training, think about it. Everybody there is learning to be a CISO. So all of them are essentially peers of yours in the same professional track. So you can make networking connections with people who are at the same level as you. And then presumably you all kind of move up, in a 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever. But then you start to build out that network. And then you have context, because I'm telling you, in the information security industry, getting a job, networking is a huge thing. But like having networking to be able to like, hey, have you guys used this product? Or, hey, have you seen this type of, attack going on? Or what have you heard about this? Like having the ability to either like, get on Slack and hit someone up or call them or text them or whatever is invaluable to have that direct line of contact. So, really any workshop, but to use the CISO one as a example there. Hacker 101, Hack Me Again. These are red team ones. What else we got in here? These are all training. Oh, I do want to point out this one. So this one's pretty cool. This one came from Paul Imey over at Soteria. Thanks, Paul. This is AutoSpy Digital Forensics. Now, this is a $500 training that they are doing for COVID. And you can see the training offer expires May 15th. So today is May 8th. Today's May 8th, so you have a week left to take care of that. So hopefully, maybe you got a light weekend and you were just looking to get some crazy forensics training in. But once you get this training, you put it on your resume, certified, boom. Now this is more on the blue team side. Forensics is obviously what you do with hardware and technology after it's been compromised. You like collect it. If there's going to be a court case or something, you need chain of custody. That's why the law enforcement gets free training on all this stuff. So. Again, if you don't know where you want to go in the field, we're going to get into some other content in here, but there's I should probably start with this. There's basically a couple different things. You can be red team, which is offensive and trying to break stuff. You can be blue team, which is defensive and trying to protect everything and being able to like detect when the offensive people are doing what they're doing, whether it's controlled good guys or it's malicious bad guys. Then there's like a whole legal element. There is governance, risk, and compliance. There's operation type stuff with like firewalls, secure gateways, email, CASBs, like there's a whole host of stuff, but most people kind of think of it as like red, blue, and then like what's in between. So check out this AutoSpy training if you want. I'd recommend this because it's going to expire in in a week. Okay. And again, for those of you who are just joining, I'm not sure, I can't really see the chats or the threads. So I'm basically just talking at my monitor right now. But we're basically going through the curated list that I've been maintaining of free resources. The link should be on a banner on the bottom. And I'm kind of trying to pull out some of these and give some editorial commentary on how you could take advantage of them in order for it not just to be like a wall of text that you're like, I don't know where to begin with this. Programming essentials in Python. Now, this is something that's kind of a hot debatable topic within the infosec field. So like I'm of the position, you have to have some context of technology to work in cybersecurity. You can't be completely IT illiterate. One skill set, though, that you do not need to be successful in cybersecurity is programming or computer programming, writing code in Python or Ruby or Perl or whatever it is. It certainly helps. you will run into some barriers where you can't do things because you don't have that skill. So you pull a tool down from a GitHub or whatever that's supposed to do this, whatever this is, and you run it, and it kind of works right, but you really wish it would work for this other service or like this API call or whatever. If you don't understand how to open up that source code and tinker with it, you're really going to be kind of at a disadvantage. You'll basically be at left to whatever the developers can do, right? So I know some blue teamers who have run into that problem doing security ops stuff and wish that they had that skill. Again, so it's not required, but it is something. What is required, and I just said it, is the having some type of IT skill set. And I'm talking about understanding what a server is. I mean, like the basic fundamentals, understanding what a server is, understanding what a workstation is. Really, the big one that I often see people kind of gapped on, that huge issue, is networking. You don't have to be a network engineer. You don't need to know how to like configure Palo Alto firewall or anything like that. But what you do need to understand at its base core is like what an IP address is, what the 4 octets are, why it goes up to 255 and doesn't go higher, what 127.0.0.1 is, what a DNS is. You don't have to get into like how BGP works and what some of the more obscure protocols are, but knowing that like Telnet's clear text and knowing that a TCP connection is stateful and it establishes a connection before transmitting data versus UDP, which just like spews data out, and why each one has its value. Those are important to understand, and it's fundamental because when you're trying to secure a system, if you're looking at it and you don't understand like how it even kind of works at its foundational level, how can you secure it? Like, what are we doing? So I would recommend, I think there's a couple in here that actually touch on this IT fundamental pieces. I want to Intro to Cybersecurity. Is this the one? So this is offered by Cisco Virtual Academy. This is not the one I was thinking of. I can't speak to this one. Could be good, could not be good, but it's free and it's by Cisco. So give me some of that. This one is cool. Okay, so this one someone posted, I think Brandon Kurth or Hirth, a fella I'm friends with on LinkedIn who actually told me about StreamYard, which is what I'm streaming to you now online with, is this Harrisburg University is offering these free classes. Now, some universities, Stanford, Georgia Tech, they're offering a subset of their courses for free. And look at this, okay? There's an entire cybersecurity section. This is nuts, right? So if you are budget conscious or you have zero budget, check this out. Like, oh, by the way, I want to take a minute here and point something out. I was thinking about this last night. If you say you take these courses that I'm about to cover, or you take the Stanford one, or whatever, if you take a college course, whether you audit and you don't get credit, or if you don't pay anything, but you don't have a transcript or anything like that, put it on your resume because you took the course, you have that knowledge, put it on the resume. If you just started the course, put it on the resume and put anticipated, completion date, August 2020, whatever it is, put it on the resume. 2 reasons. One, it gets you through like HR screening, automation, AI, bots, whatever. Like you got the keywords. So you get through and actually have a human look at it. Then look at it. It's going to come a couple things. One, oh, this individual is, investing in themselves and committing to a project, taking classes. Good for them. Second of all, it's a talking point. Oh, why are you taking this class on developing a security program? What led you to select that? It lends itself to a conversation and it makes you look proactive and interesting. So I definitely recommend the college courses. Now at this Harrisburg, look at this. They have, here, I'm going to collapse these. I was telling you earlier, red team, blue team. If you've been with me the entire broadcast, I spent some time earlier, red team, blue team. Red team, if you want to be offensive and you want to be that kind of hacker, pen test, break into things, get shells, whatever, malware analysis lab, home hacking lab, open source intel, which is pretty cool. This is like the first level of reconnaissance. You can take this whole class, right? It's probably, I think it might just be a video or whatever, which is a little bit quicker, which is why I put it in the training section instead of the college courses section. Long story short, when you go to the GitHub, check out this Harrisburg one because you can spend whatever, an hour and learn what you need to know to talk intelligently about ransomware. SOC, this is like one of the most popular starting places in information security, is the Security Operations Center. This is like your foundational blue team person. Watch this. You will know when you're done with it if you're into blue teaming or not. It's simple as that. Okay, that's the Harrisburg one, 33. Okay. Got a couple of the trainings here. I'll leave that to you. I do want to spend a minute on the instructor-led webinars. Black Hills Information Security and Trusted Sec, which is Dave Kennedy's group, they have been hosting most of these instructor-led webinars, and hat tip to them because they've been excellent, and I sincerely appreciate it. I will say that these ones have dates. This one passed, so I actually need to edit this one out. So is this one? So this one? Oh, geez. I'll do it after the podcast. But anyways, you can see that these things are expiring, so time is of the essence. So the next one that you can do is cyber threat hunting. Now, this is an advanced blue team skill. So if you're a blue team or a SOC analyst or something, and you want to like take it to the next level or interview for a next job and be able, or promotion, and be able to talk about threat hunting, this is the one for you right here. Let's see, capture the flag. Capture the flag is fun. You basically solve like interesting, challenging puzzles and stuff like that, and get points for it for uncovering things. And it's kind of, I'd say it's closer to like red team because you're kind of breaking into things, but sometimes they make it blue where you're like uncovering what the threat actor did. So there's some other good ones here. We got May 27th, May 29th. These are industrial control system ones, so very specific niche industry. Leave the rest for you to check out, but it's definitely interesting. The books I'm going to skip over because they're self-explanatory. Podcasts are also self-explanatory, but I will give you this level of editorialism. Daily Information Security Podcast Stormcast is one that I listen to. It's like 5 minutes long, first thing in the morning. It's very useful. Risky Business is good. I don't listen to it as often as I'd like, but it's really well done. They have good banter. It's two guys who do it. There's another one that I listen to, Darknet Diaries. Like if you haven't heard about this one, then I'm not sure why not, because this one is like the darling podcast of the information security industry. It's basically nonfiction stories told in dramatic fashion, really well done by Jack Resider is the host of that. And check that. If you take one thing from here for a recreational thing this weekend, Darknet Diaries, very good. And one other one that I wanted to bring your attention to, it's not on this list, but Cisco vendor, security relationship vendor. So David Spark does this one, and he also does another one. And the other one is the one I subscribe to. I think it's called the Cisco series or something. But anyways, David Spark, excellent professional, really, really well done. I mean, this is like a professionally produced podcast. So I recommend those to check out. Now, just so we wrap up here, I'm going to highlight a couple college courses. Now, these are like legit college courses. It still blows my mind how this is working, but like these are like legit universities offering the same curriculum that they would be offering to students who paid and enrolled and applied and got accepted and all that. It's all there. Now, the rub is you don't get the credit, right? It's not like you can transfer the credits from a course you didn't pay for, but as I mentioned before, it doesn't matter because employers don't care if you paid for the course or not. They may ask for transcripts for certain requirements, but you can put it on your resume and speak to it. Now, crypto, that's a wicked niche thing. So if you are into crypto, you already know you're into crypto, get into that. But basically, if you like math, like a lot of math, that's for you. I will tell you the Intro to Information Security at Georgia Tech. I believe this is the one I checked out. See, free course. They got the description here, but see, you have to have prior computer and programming knowledge to do this one, which is what I mentioned before is like going to be a little bit of a hurdle for you in some instances. It's an intermediate level skill. It's probably because of the IT and programming element. But if you fall into that category, check out this Georgia Tech one. I suspect it's quite good. Now, one other one I wanted to talk about, because I often hear people saying, how do I get into information security? Or, if you're just into it, like you get hired and you're like doing a GRC role, like all you know is GRC. You don't know about red team, blue team, and all the, various different roles that you could possibly do, AppSec test, whatever. So this course right here, it's my understanding based on what I've looked at, that this course is basically to kind of help you get that understanding and see the different elements within an information security industry to basically be able to direct your focus, direct your training focus, and develop the direction you want. Now you see how the course is free, but if you want a certificate, it's $200. Well, I mean, thank you, edX, that's great. But if I get the education, that's awesome. I'll take the education. You see how they enroll starts May 8th. Don't get too worried about that because that's today. This date changes daily. It's a rolling course. And I have taken 2 edX courses personally, and they were so good. One of them was particularly good, the economics of information security, that I did it twice because I really wanted to glean the information because it was just like awesome what I was getting out of it. But that's a side thing. So finding your cybersecurity career path. So if you're new to the game and you're trying to figure out where you're going, check out that one. There's some other good ones in here. You can see NYU is in here. They have quite a few. Georgia Tech is in here. Washington, University of Washington, Stanford has one. Those are basically the universities that are providing that free college education. All right. Well, thank you. Hopefully you enjoyed the live stream. It is a little bit more raw and dynamic. And, I had a good time with it. I hope to be able to engage during the live stream. If you comment, if you happen to be on while I'm broadcasting, I will engage with you and get it going and really answer your questions. The whole reason I do this is to help give back to the community and contribute to helping others make good decisions and navigate their career. So that's why I'm doing it. I'm doing it to engage with you. I'm not doing it for any other reason. So, check it out. And until next week, stay secure.